Soil health has always been a priority to me. It's something I'm passionate about. We wanted to introduce better soil health into both our summer and winter crops. We wanted the soil health to be in a condition that would grow not only a healthier crop, but we wanted more resilience in our business. My name's Scott McCalman. With my wife Jo and son George, we farm north of Malali on the northern end of the Liverpool Plains. We're farming around 2,500 acres. We farm 3 properties, predominantly rain-grown summer and winter cropping. Our pillar crops are rain-grown cotton, rain-grown sorghum in the summer months. They're probably the 2 key profit drivers, and then we rotate those crops with both cover crops, plus durum and breadwheat and canola. Initially we had to address highly compacted farm. Soil was really knocked around, it just copped a flogging. It's amazing how hard and resilient soil is, and it will work for you. It was incredible. As soon as we started putting ground cover on it, getting our wheel track compaction sorted, it was incredible how quickly we got it back into a productive state and got the fertility going again. To go down the road of soil health, there's a bit to it. For our business, we've chosen to use early autumn cover crops grown for 12 weeks. When we came here, we were doing more chickpeas, faba beans, legumes, mung beans in the rotation. We dropped all that fuzziness or fussiness out because we found the marketing of those pulse crops was inherently risky or often challenging. Wheat, both breadwheat and durum wheat and canola go really well behind the 2 pillar crops. So we decided to use the cover crops with the legume components as a sort of driver of the system. That's worked really well for us. It's giving us tremendous nutrient cycling for our following cash crops. And we're introducing other tools, like we're bringing in a bit of biology, running liquid fertiliser, still using a few traditional fertilisers, complementing it with quite a diverse rotation of summer and winter cropping. And it's been a really good risk management tool for our business. It's given us more resilience in our business and had a considerable impact on our cost of production.
Cover crops are unique and special in that we don't harvest them. So that means they have an interesting opportunity to really drive changes in soil health above and beyond, because ultimately their dead bodies are returned back to the soil. And that means they're not removing nutrients, they're not depleting the soils, they're improving those soils. And that's why cover crops are unique in terms of that advantage. But they do all sorts of other things in terms of keeping that soil covered, protecting that soil. So that in an Australian context, that can mean protecting the soil from hot sun as well, shading the soil, keeping the temperatures cooler.
The cover crop's role is provide really good ground cover. The cover cropping is allowing us to introduce 4 or 5 species, typically a brassica, 2 legumes and a grass. That gives us good diversity, good root development, and it's definitely helped the nutrition pool, the soil's capacity to cycle the nutrients, and we can top up the biology with a little bit of nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium, whatever is required depending on sap test. It's giving us really good bang for buck. We just do the seed increases ourselves, grow them on farm. You don't have to grade it, just put it all in the silo, get your ratios right, which can be a bit of fun and games. As soon as you get an autumn break, or before, you can go and plant it dry. Go and get your cover crops in. Obviously you need to keep it cheap, it needs to be simple. You don't want to create a whole lot of headaches for yourself, so a lot of seed is very expensive. I'd recommend that you just buy a small amount, do a seed increase, grow them in the corner of a paddock somewhere and bulk up your seed supply. And it's really important that you choose species that are appropriate for your soil type and be aware of what the species are doing in the soil. 12 weeks seems to be the magic number that we can get good nutrition cycling, generate plenty of cover, plenty of lignum in the plant, and the roller crimping process works really, really well. But it's really important that we have the species that all reach flowering together. They're all hitting anthesis at the same time. For the crimper to work, you need the cover crop ending the vegetative phase. I can't have 5 species that are still vegetative, 5 that are going reproductive, because the ones that are still vegetative, they're not ready, they won't terminate, they won't die, they'll spring back up. So you can create actually a weed burden. They'll keep using moisture. So that's been really crucial, finding 4 or 5 species, and in our case, a cereal crop, 2 legumes and a brassica really work well. This is probably one of the best things we have on the farm. So we're inoculating everything we grow. We don't put any fungicides on our seed at all, and don't think your crop's going to die, it won't. But all we do is put biology on it. So this is a cover crop mix here, we're putting inoculant on it.
Terminating the cover crop is then a big discussion. It's really important to optimize the timing of that, when to and how to. And we have a lot of debate about that, and there's various tools in which farmers can use, from cultivation or herbicides are the two commonly used. And like all tools, they have pros and cons. And here today at this event at Scott's farm, we were here to learn about a middle ground approach that he's using, a roller crimper, whereby those cover crops are rolled down and terminated, creates a really nice mulch. And the benefit of that is that through that approach, it's really about optimizing and keeping the nutrients on that soil, keeping the nutrients in the landscape, and they can be stored ready for the following and subsequent crops.
The crimping process is quite critical to how the system works. Crimping is a mechanical action with a chevron pattern roller, matching our planter width. As the roller goes across the crop, it bruises the plant and terminates the crop. Very, very cheap to pull it with a tractor. It's highly effective, and it leaves all the cover crop laying on the soil so that soil biology can get to it as a food source. But you also get some other spin-off benefits. It lifts the fallow efficiency because the ground's covered. We're capturing low rainfall. We're picking up morning and evening dew. You get some allelopathic impacts on suppressing weeds that last a couple of months, so that's a saving. It's one of the best things we've ever introduced into our business. It really has been a game changer for us. Some of the benefits with the growing crop, we don't control any weeds that manage to grow on the cover crop. You don't get a lot of weeds because it is very thick, but any weeds in there just become part of the cover crop mix. So that's a good cost saving to my business. That's 3 months the cover crop's growing. I'm not needing to do any herbicide work, chase weeds, anything like that.
Applying cover crops in an Australian context means managing your soil moisture. We've got to be careful about not having too many plants there, or how much cover we have there, which can also deplete soil moisture. And that's kind of just the balance that we have to try and strike. But because they will use moisture, but they bring a lot of gains with that use of moisture as compared to, say, for example, bare fallow, which, it conserves moisture, but by baking that soil, we are actually depleting the carbon. Whereas with cover crops, we are adding carbon. So they're both using water, but at least with cover crops, we are adding some carbon back into the system, which over time, of course, helps to drive some of those changes in soil health properties, but also particularly in soil carbon. So I think cover crops go a little bit above and beyond in their capacity to accelerate some of these changes and benefits in soil health.
I think one of the criticisms cover crops gets, and understandably, growers will say, the cover crop's going to use too much moisture. It will impact on your cash crop. But we've found through thick ground cover and the fact that I think the soil biology is so much more active, we're picking up that lost moisture really quickly. Just morning and evening dew, it's quite incredible without rainfall how much the cover crop actually captures. There's some other challenges. You've got to get your planters really, really good with precision to cut through the heavy residue of the cover crops. In our case, we're using single discs or trash whippers, fronted discs. That's crucial to get it right. You've got to plant it the same way it was rolled. We've made lots of mistakes, but as we've made mistakes, that's allowed us to make changes and sort of learn how to fit it into our environment.
In the discussion of transition towards soil health, there's no hard and fast rules on this. It really does depend on a whole range of different contexts. But I think it's really important to acknowledge the farmers' mindsets and that they kind of come along to events like we did today, do a bit of learning and education, visit other farmers, see what other farmers are doing. And that's going to help them kind of answer that question, well, what's the best path towards that transition? So I think a bit of knowledge and education and goal setting becomes a really important first part of that.
Since we've gone down the track of zero-till farming, controlling our compaction, introducing some biology, taking our foot off the pedal with synthetic fertilisers, bringing in cover crops, crimping it, We can definitely see how the soil structure, the friability, the moisture holding capacity, and I can see and smell the difference. The soil is much more healthier. The crops look healthier. I think we've got more drought tolerance in our soil now. I think we're holding more moisture. It's just incredible how hard your soil will work for your business if you just give it that little bit of chance. And that might mean just weaning off a few things, or changing your grazing management, or changing how you're cropping. But that's certainly one thing I found. You give it half a chance, it really starts to generate robustness for your business. So it's only been going for about 10 years. The next 10 is going to be really exciting as we get better and smarter at it and fine tune it more. Yeah, I think there's many benefits to come, and it's something we're definitely going to keep doing and get better at.